Alrighty, it is the question on everybody's mind. Halloween, what's the forecast going to be? Is it going to be a trick or is it going to be a treat for us? Unfortunately, folks, the way things look right now, looks like Mother Nature is going to play a nice little trick on us on Halloween, which we'll talk about in this video. We are sponsored today by Metal Magic in Washington. You can give Chad a call at 698-8555 for all of your paintless tint repair needs. Folks, they do a fantastic job. PDR Nation certified. Give them a call and tell them that Southern Indiana Weather sent you. All right, if you have followed on the Facebook page today a little bit, you know that Mother Nature is suggesting to us at least the possibility of some wintry precipitation on Halloween. Why not? That's just the way this weird weather year has been going, has it not? Let's take a look at the models and give you an idea of what to expect. First off, had a little bit of rain today here. We had a little rain on Tuesday, but by and large, not a huge accumulation. That rain is pretty much out of the picture. There's a chance of some light shower activity on Thursday night, but nothing really much beyond that. The next chance of anything, I wouldn't even say significant per se, but a little bit of mischief will come on Halloween itself. Let's start off with the good old GFS model here. High pressure sits in really for Wednesday and for a portion of Thursday at least. You can see Thursday night there it is, just a bit of some shower activity taking a dive in our direction. But watch the blue lines take a dive over us by the time Halloween moves into the picture, and you see the precipitation move over us as well. Typically what we see here, this first dashed bright blue line, is a 540 thickness line. I talked about this a lot last winter, and you'll remember the 540 thickness line is typically what we look at for the rain snow changeover line. Now it's not an exact location of that, but it gives us an approximate location to go with, and it's right about 50% of the time. Typically everything to the north of that is going to be snow, everything to the south of that is going to be rain. You can see it's to the south of us and we have some precipitation in the area. I do think there is a possibility that we could see a little bit of wintry precipitation. I don't think this would be all snow at this point. The atmosphere is going to cool down much faster than what the surface does, but nonetheless some light wintry precip could be possible out of this. And notice as we move in through the evening, this is by 2 in the afternoon. By the time 8 p.m. in the evening comes, notice that we are dipping down in here into these sort of lighter blue lines. This indicates much colder air advecting into the upper levels of the atmosphere, and so it is almost certain that someone in our area will see some wet snowflakes out of this, possibly even a little bit of sleet depending on the temperature profile of the atmosphere. That's something that we will keep an eye on. Well, here's what I want you to see. We switch over here to the European model, and you can see the European model is even more aggressive than what we have with the GFS model here. Here's the European again, and you can see those lines are tighter and those are even stronger over us. All right. And here is what the Canadian model says. Notice the Canadian is a similar vein that is well to our south with precipitation in the area, and even the NAM model now suggesting this as well. So why do I point this out? Well, I point this out, folks, to give you an idea of how to prepare your kiddos for trick-or-treating. All 4 of the big players in the weather model world right now, as of tonight, Tuesday night, as I'm recording this, folks are indicating the potential here for some wintry precipitation. Now the question is, will anything stick? How much will it be? Well, taking a look at the GFS model, first time I've actually had to show a snow map for this year, and probably the first of many times that you're going to be seeing these sort of snow maps. You can see very light precipitation. Now keep in mind that this will melt. I don't expect any of this to stick unless a fluke happens. I'm not expecting any accumulation at this point, but this is suggesting that maybe up to a ½ inch of snow could fall from the sky, and of course if nothing sticks it's not going to be that big of a deal. Temperature wise are going to be what we're looking at for things to stick. Now I will caution you that there could be more moisture come out of this than what we what we are thinking. Notice how deep this trough goes. Okay, first off, what we're looking at here is heights at about the 500 millibar level. So this is heights at about 18,000 feet up into the atmosphere, and just sort of notice the direction these winds are coming down, and it's straight from Canada. But what I really want you to see, folks, is this right here. Notice these bright colors over us. This is what we call a vort max, and these vort maxes this is just spin in the atmosphere, and it is maxed out right over us at about the time that the trick-or-treaters would start coming in here. And you see here, well, actually here's 2 p.m. and then here is 8 p.m. that night. Sometimes these vort maxes can get over us, and they can actually squeeze more moisture out of the atmosphere than what the models are capable of seeing. So what would that do? Could that mean that this would actually be a little higher than what it's suggesting? Yeah, it possibly could. It could also jack our temperatures up to be a little bit cooler than potentially what they're seeing. So that's something we'll keep in mind. But as of right now, it doesn't look like anything is going to stick. Looks like it would melt at this point, but cold, cold, cold. Let's talk about temperatures, and let's talk about how cold it's going to get, because folks, I can just tell you right now, you're going to want to bundle your kids up pretty big as you head out to Halloween. Here's what temperatures look like Friday morning from the GFS model. We start off with temperatures in the upper 40s. Now, typically our temperatures rise during the day. Not going to happen on Friday. Temperatures will be falling during the day as that front moves through and as cold air starts to advect in. By the time 2 in the afternoon comes, you notice that we're already into the low 40s, even into the 30s here in central Indiana. 8 p.m. comes at night, 38 in Evansville, 36 in Huntingburg, 37 up in Bloomington, 36 up in Terre Haute, and about 36 or so here in the Louisville area. You get the idea that it's going to be a cold night for trick-or-treating. And of course, this is 8 p.m. Eastern time. That'd be 7 Central time for you folks down here in southwest Indiana. Cold, cold, cold any way we look at it, and we don't rebound much. Overnight, we dip down to an overnight low into the low 30s, near freezing across the entire area, according to this model. Next day, we only rebound up to the mid-40s before we dip down on Sunday morning to even colder temperatures, possibly in the upper 20s across parts of the area. Then on Sunday, we only dip up into the upper 40s to near the 50-degree mark before we fall down not quite as far on Sunday night into Monday morning to the low 40s. So we got a very, very, very cold weekend coming our way. Now, let me show you temperature-wise from a couple of other models as well. NAM is in good agreement, whereas the GFS wants to take us from about 36 to 39 area-wide for our temperatures during the trick-or-treating hours. You can see about 39 or 40 here on the NAM model. That's pretty well in decent agreement. The European model wants to take us about 40 or 41 degrees. Canadian model wants to take us just a slight bit warmer, anywhere from 41 to 44. Now, whether you're looking at 44 or whether you're looking at 36, 37, that is a pretty significant difference, but it's cold no matter how you cut it. So you're going to want to layer your kids well with some good warm layers of clothes underneath of their costumes. Now, here's another reason why we want to talk about this as well. Let's take a look at the wind speed. Not only is it going to be bitterly cold, not only do we have the possibility that we're going to see some drizzle be falling from the sky, and that drizzle could be mixing in with some wet snowflakes or even some sleet. That's just stinking nasty weather to trick-or-treat in, if we're honest, to begin with, and just sort of miserable type of weather to be out in. But the winds are going to be howling. Here are projected wind speeds for the time that we would be having our trick-or-treaters out from, say, 6 to 8 p.m. at night. And what we're looking at here is a 10 to 20 mile per hour wind area wide. So why is that significant? Let's take a look at our wind chill chart, courtesy of the National Weather Service. Let's look at our temperature over here. Let's say 35 to 40 being our temperature range for around that time. Let's just go with some wind speeds down here. All right, if we're at a 35 degree temperature and you've got a 10 to 20 mile per hour wind, here's what you do. Here's what your wind chill ranges will be from about 35 to 40, anywhere from 24 to 34 degrees. So on the low side, 24 on your low side of the wind chill, and with that wind, temperatures at least feeling like they're in the mid 30s, maybe even mid 20s. So bottom line, stinking cold weather coming our way for Friday night. And unfortunately, that's just going to be one of the things that we have to deal with. So, but like I said plenty of times before here tonight, bundle your kids up with good layers, folks, because it's going to be cold. Now, whether we see any little bit of snowflakes fall from the sky or not, it's going to be cold either way at that point. Now, the good news is it's not going to stay cold forever. As we take a look at your 16-day temperature spread from the GFS ensembles, you do see it warms up. All right. So we've got a cold, and by the way, I don't buy this 50 degrees on Friday that it's projecting, but keep in mind where temperatures fall during the day, I think we're actually going to hit into the 40s and fall from there. So I think this is a little bit too warm, but even beyond that, you can see Saturday morning we get down to freezing. We get into a hard freeze on Sunday morning, and then Monday morning, well, you get that same idea. Folks, it's just going to be a cold weekend coming our way. Tomorrow, not bad with temperatures in the upper 50s. And then next week, beyond this, we'll rebound up nicely to near 60 degrees. By the way, by the time November the 3rd comes, our average high hits 59 degrees. And we actually, in the month of November, fall from the upper 50s into the upper 40s for our average high temperatures by the end of the month. So we cool down quite rapidly in the month of November. But what you can see beyond this, folks, is just a very seasonable temperatures. 59 degrees being our average temperature for November the 3rd. So you can see basically just seasonable weather here for a little while. But certainly not bitter cold weather, just seasonable. Let's take a look at your 10-day forecast, sponsored by the Smile Center here in Huntingburg. We're going down to about 46 on Tuesday night for your low, but here's the meat of the forecast as we go on. Mostly sunny and, a nice day overall, 58 on Wednesday. Light frost possible under clear skies and down to 36 Wednesday night. Little disturbance moves through on Thursday, maybe an isolated shower chance, but it's not really a potent chance by any means. Friday being the big deal right now, and not so much of the big deal even precipitation-wise. I've only went with a 30% chance of precipitation. A big deal because we may see a few wet snowflakes mixing in or some light sleet mixing in, and it's early, and very few of us want to see it that early in the day, early in the year, I should say. But the big thing is temperatures are going to be falling through the day, and we're going down to a hard freeze that night. Again, with the winds gusting 10 to 20, sustained 10 to 20 miles per hour, and gusting even higher than that, folks. Wind chills are going to be bitterly cold. Bundle your kids up. Folks, I'm only going with a high of 44 on Saturday. It's going to be very, very, very cold. Again, the winds only ease up a little bit during the daytime, 10 to 15 miles per hour. They'll ease up that night as we go down to another hard freeze and probably some very frosty conditions on Saturday night as we go down to an overnight low of 28. Sunday, we don't rebound much, but we rebound nicely after that on Monday. Some rain moves into the forecast on Monday and Tuesday. This actually should say a 40% chance of rain on Monday, too, so you can ignore that here. But rain into the forecast for the rest of the 10-day is pretty much seasonable weather starts to return. So there's your Halloween forecast, folks. Bundle the kids up and be prepared for a very cold evening. Don't forget, folks, we have a great mobile app that you can download, available for iPhone and Android. You can get your 10-day forecast, interactive radar, and a whole lot more there. Just search your favorite app store there for iPhone or Android. Search for southernindianaweather.com and you will be able to get it. I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite. Thanks for watching this video, folks. We'll see you next time.